Welcome to another podcast episode of the Self-Publishing Corner. I'm your host, Cheryl Denise Bannerman, and this week we have a very special guest, Sarah McDavis. Sarah is a children's author, illustrator, digital presence educator, book coach, and a kids yoga instructor who thrives on creativity and storytelling. She is the founder of Wonder Creek Media, a transmedia storytelling company, building the fictional world of the Zoological and Aquatic Rehabilitation and Research Center. Her mystery chapter book for kids, OCTO, PI, and the Missing Egg, is out now, and the next one's coming in May. For over a decade, Sarah has been immersed in the craft and business of writing for children. After years of blogging about family stories and her running adventures, whether she's developing new stories, guiding fellow writers, or expanding the world of Wonder Creek Media, Sarah is passionate about bringing stories to life in exciting and meaningful ways. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. That was so nice. I'm over here like, I feel like every time I hear my bio, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I did do
we're
stuff.
Talking about you. We're so excited to hear about your journey. So I'm just gonna jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I know that you've been writing since childhood, starting with your first imaginative tale about the town of Plop.
Yes. Yep, that's right.
You were young. It was never put on paper. But as a child, I have to ask if you were the storyteller of the family.
There was a lot of different storytelling going on in our house for sure. Yeah, we all really kind of immersed ourselves in stories, and as the oldest, I was very much dictating the story structure and what was happening.
Yeah.
But I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so my siblings all kind of, we had our own things that we did, and and I kind of
that was your talent.
Things. Yes.
Did that influence the way that you approach writing today? Ooh. The way you were as a kid?
Yeah, I think a little bit, because I love what I love the most about it is playing. I love it when it's fun. That's why I keep doing it. And anytime that I get stuck, I just go back to that idea of playing, that idea of just getting into a character, pretending you're somewhere else, and building a whole new world for yourself to live in.
Yes.
Such a blast.
I had many imaginary friends as a child.
Yep.
Because I was basically an only child at home because my brothers were all older. And so I learned how to do all my games and toys by myself, even board games. I would say, where you go, well, it's your turn.
Yeah.
That's a sad story for another time, guys. Okay? I am fine. So, as an adult, let's talk about what sparked your love for writing as an adult. You're writing for children. Mm-hmm. How, was there something that influenced that shift from, writing for adults to writing to children? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was pregnant with my 4th kid. Mm-hmm. And the year before had been like a year of running for me. I had ran a race every single month, and I was like, all right, this is who I am. This is what I do.
You're a runner.
Yeah, I was like, this is great. And then I had a really hard pregnancy and was not running at all.
Yes.
And I still wanted something that was mine. And I came back to what I love doing. And so I came back to writing. Mm-hmm. And I was reading a lot of kids' books. And I think, and there's sometimes just like, you know what, I could probably do this. I have stories. They're good stories. I could write these down and they could be a thing.
Yeah.
And it was something I could do sitting down while my other kids played and could
They
rest.
could even participate.
Oh, yes. And they were full of inspiration for me. They definitely, there's definitely stories they inspired for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the catalyst that got the ball rolling in this direction. Yeah.
Well, your first book, I mean, goodness, you know, that's always holds a special place in your heart when you finally put that first story on paper. What's the story behind that?
Yeah. So, I started out writing picture book manuscripts was where I really started learning the most. I was a couple different online groups really trying to get into that world of children's book publishing. And I kept having this idea about this octopus. I've always loved octopuses. They are just fascinating little creatures.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Love the orange one hanging off the bookcase.
My little I have them literally they are everywhere.
Yes. Everyone has their thing, you know.
Yep.
So
yeah, and this one, she just would not leave my head. I just kept thinking about her and thinking about the things she might do, and then slowly grew that world and found out who she was and what she wanted me to tell.
Is it hard building a world for children?
I don't find it hard because I really dive in and very much immerse myself. When I picture a story, I almost see it as like a TV show. I can see all of the pieces and how they move and what's happening. That makes it, I think it makes it easier for me. I don't know if that would work for everyone.
I was just curious because most people say, like, who write fantasy and sci-fi and so forth, that the hardest part is creating the world. You know I tried to venture into it one time and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Because it's a complete world, with you know, social status and groups of people and description of the environment, the era, you know, what year are you in? It could be in the future, you know. I mean, it was so much work. So I was curious, you know, if it was just as much work for a children's, you know, world.
I think it then really depends on where your story's going and what it is. I am very much inspired by real animals. So a lot of how the animals move and how they interact sometimes, I do think about how they already do that in our world. And so that makes it a little bit easier. And I think kids are always drawn to things like Zootopia and Sing. And like they already kind of have an idea of what a world of talking animals is. So that does make it a little easier.
Yeah, and I think if you have real fun facts in there about real animals, it's a learning experience for them as well.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I love
every author's publishing journey is, you know, unique. Some go traditional, some self-publish. You know, tell us a little bit about your experience for this first book.
Yeah. So, like I said, I started with picture books, and my goal was to be traditionally published. That was the trajectory I had put myself on. I was submitting to agents and editors, and I had an agent for a couple of years, and then right before everything shut down, she stepped away from agenting. So I was like, all right, I'm going to step back for a minute, and I'm going to take, and then everything shut down, and I was like, well, now I'm really going to step back. I was like, I now have fully, like, I don't know how much of it was my choice at that point, but
for all of us.
Right, exactly. And I think everybody had that moment of just like, well, what am I really doing? Like, what is really important? And I got back to that play. I got back to just getting my hands in markers and crayons. And I was making these little mini booklets, little mini zines that you fold out of one sheet of paper. And I would create, I had so much fun. I actually create them now for every character in this book series. And make each little zine. I just have a blast.
That process is fascinating to me. You know, we live in a world with so much, you know, serious, you know, things. And, you know, that getting back to that, the age of innocence of a child, that just sounds like amazing.
It's so much fun. I highly recommend it. I do I've talked actually to a couple of authors who write for adults, and we've used this idea of creating a mini zine based on like your pick a character and have them write this zine out like as a character development exercise. And so you get to play a little bit and you learn more about your character. It's just so much fun.
That is brilliant. You should patent that.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's brilliant.
Let me just type that over here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I got back to playing and I started drawing a lot, which when I was doing picture books, I was not, I wasn't planning on illustrating my own stuff, my own stories, but I was drawing a lot.
You have skills.
But I did illustrate this one.
Oh, wow.
And that all really happened because I took a step back and was like, well, what do I actually like doing? What is it that and anyone who is in this business knows you don't do it for the money. You don't. You do it because it's in you. Exactly. Yeah. And so taking that step back was really, really helpful for me to take a little bit of time and just say, okay, no, this is actually where the direction I want to go in and really what I want. And that, and then, kind of all snowballed into this.
I know that COVID kind of made you take control of the whole self-publishing process. You know, tell us how you did it. Like, I know that you illustrated it. How did you get the book formatted? And how did you get it published? Like, who did you use? Like, how did you do it?
So I after I had a really solid, what I thought to be final copy, after going through who knows how long with my critique group, who they all love my characters now, or they better. Just kidding. They're fantastic. Critique, get one if you don't have one.
Absolutely.
Yes, just the best. So then I worked with a developmental editor to really help iron out all of the story pieces. And one way she was really, especially for writing for kids and writing for this age group, one thing she was really helpful with is getting the reading level to the right level, which was something that I hadn't thought about. And just making sure that I tried not to use like really big words because I am looking to that 7 to 10 range.
7 to 10. Okay.
But I didn't think about the length of my sentences. And so that was a really helpful, really, really helpful piece.
I never even thought about that.
And I just got feedback from her for my second one, and she was like, "Good job, you learned." And I was like, "Okay, I did it right."
Yeah, you're getting the hang of it.
But it was
a lot to learn.
So
and there's different, you know, this is for my audience. There's different types of editors, and so you know, you have people who will just look at spelling and and grammar, right? That's proofing. You know, you have a copy editor, so we're just looking at the proofing and the grammar and the sentence structure. But I think when you get into developmental editing, even with my novels, they will actually find conflicts in your story. So like, well, you said that, you know, they ran from the jail earlier, and now you're saying that a car picked him up, you know, or something
Yep.
like that, right?
So, all those little things that you're like,
yes,
oh, I missed that little
yes.
consistency. And with writing a mystery, my editor was so helpful in looking at like each little piece where you start to figure out and how you figure out the mystery throughout the whole thing. So that was really helpful too.
Yeah.
And
Don't
just
make
those
it
fresh
too
eyes.
easy.
Like, yes. All the little pieces. A little puzzle. It's a little puzzle.
It is a puzzle. I love writing mystery too. So, you know, I always try to make it as difficult as possible to be able to figure it out, because it's no fun if you figure it out in chapter 2. You know.
Right. And you're just like, all right. Never mind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to work for it a little bit. Yeah. So
finish telling us about who you went to publish.
Oh, yes.
I interrupted.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, I love the chatter. So I went through editing. I worked with a copy editor, just like you mentioned, doing all the little bits and pieces. And then I went to the University of YouTube and learned how to format my book.
Wow.
So I
never heard it rephrased like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I used to homeschool my kids, and on days, if there were days that I wasn't feeling well, that was what they did. They went to the University of YouTube.
Well, you can learn almost anything.
So many things. Yeah. So I used Affinity Publisher, as my software to, and I just followed along with a couple different videos and worked back and forth until I figured out what I wanted and made sure it looked good. And then I worked through Ingram Spark, who does all of the distributing and printing and all that stuff.
Okay, so, great. I love Ingram Spark.
Yes. They have been so helpful. There was a little bit of user error when I was like uploading. I had uploaded the wrong thing, and they were like, "This is too small." And it was so helpful to actually talk to someone. I was able to get one of their like little, they have like 30-minute sessions. And I was just like, "Help! What have I done?" User error, easy fix. So we love an easy fix.
And it gets your book into every place,
everywhere.
So as long as the bookstore or vendor, has access to their software, they can go through the catalog and pick whatever they want. And you can advertise in Ingram Spark's catalog as well. And a whole bunch of other, stuff. They have a lot. They've expanded their marketing section, because I can tell you that when I joined, it was just one option. You want to be in the catalog or not. Now there's like 7-8 different options under
They do
marketing.
have a lot of options. So many different things to be able to do.
Good stuff.
All
right. Well, you've stepped into the role of mentor for other authors when it comes to digital marketing. Tell me what excites you the most about helping others.
So what I really, really love and I enjoy the most is that, like, the look in someone's face when you tell them, no, you don't have to do all the things. Like, and just that like calm that like kind of rushes over you when someone else says, no, it's okay. You don't have to do everything that the people on the internet say you should do. Like, and then helping people figure out what's right for them in the season of life that they're in the kinds of books that they write, because just like a publishing journey, your marketing journey is entirely your own.
That's right.
And it can vary book to book. It can vary all over. And it, again, it's another little puzzle to help people figure out is what's going to work best, and what's not only going to work best for getting your book out there and helping people know what it is, but what makes sense for you. Like if you're someone that loves to be online and you're on like Blue Sky, texting people away, then maybe that's a great place for you to go. But if you're more like, you know what, I really just kind of want to get rid of all of the apps on my phone, like, okay, that's an option, and you can
Sure.
still market your book and
That's
still
right.
have a way forward.
Yeah, there are many options. I
Yes.
don't think that people realize it. Like you said, I think a lot of people have the misconception that they have to put their face out there on
Mhm.
video, doing all these different promos,
Yep.
just to make it
Yep.
on social media, especially like Instagram and
Mhm.
TikTok, right?
Yep.
But that's not true.
Yeah. No.
I
Yeah.
rarely show my face.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. You don't have
there
to.
are so many different. My favorite tool, I always talk about this tool, is Animoto.
Mhm.
It is a template driven app. I have it on my desktop, and that's where I put together all my little book videos. And it's just super easy to use. The template comes with videos and images. You can just swap it out for your video clip or image,
Mhm.
and update the text, and you're done.
Yes. That's
It's
one of the things
super
I
easy.
use.
And
Yeah.
music as
And
well.
music, I love a template. I love a template so much.
Yes,
That's one of my
that's
favorite things
wonderful.
on Canva is creating, just using their templates and plug and
Yes,
play what works for
Canva
me.
too.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
Keep it
So
easy.
you don't have to show your face, and you can
Yep.
still put out great stuff to engage people,
Exactly.
and engage them in the comments.
Yeah.
Do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So many different ways to work things and make things
yeah, yeah.
feel comfortable so you're not stressing out about it, because there's enough stuff to
Exactly.
stress out about. Not to
Exactly.
stress out.
Don't we?
Yeah.
You're a busy lady.
A
I
little bit.
listed all those things in the beginning, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, kids yoga? Like what? Like she's
Yeah.
writing, she's mentoring, now she's doing kids yoga. I mean, when do you have time for you? Do you
Ooh.
have something for downtime?
I'm not very good at
De-stressing?
downtime. You might figure out, I'm not great at it. I mean, I would say the thing that I'm really doing for myself a lot right now is improv comedy. I love it. It's so much fun.
No way.
Yeah, so much fun.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. No, I'm
Yes,
not.
I'm gonna do a character right now. But I'm part of a kids improv group, and we do shows for kids.
No way.
But then I'm also taking classes for myself because I just
Yeah.
enjoy it so much, and it's
Oh my
fun.
God,
Again,
it
it's
sounds like
that
so much
play.
fun.
Yeah, I just like to make stories and play, and that's all it is.
Yes, I love it, and it shows in your character and your personality. You just seem like just a easygoing, fun-loving person.
I try.
For sure. Yeah, that's wonderful. And where's the kids yoga?
So
Is that
right
a
now,
class?
yeah, I teach class. I've taught like summer camps. I
Wow.
do twice a week at our local bookstore. I do a toddler yoga, so like kids under 5.
So cute.
It's so much fun. They're adorable.
Oh, that
Yeah,
age that's just such a cute age for
it's
them
so
to
cute.
try and be trying to do that. I could just
Mhm.
imagine it in my head.
Yep. The number of times parents are out there with their phones like the whole time. I'm like, yep. They're just moving. And sometimes there are kids that are just stare at me. And they're like, yeah, you do that, lady. And it's like, it's okay. And their adult will come up to me afterwards and be like, oh, they didn't really like it. And I'm like, they didn't run around the store screaming. I'm gonna call to win. Like,
Yeah, that's true. So obviously some part of it, just watching it,
Yeah.
was relaxing.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, that actually seems like they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I mean, in any yoga class you go to, a teacher will tell you, take what you need, leave what you don't. And they were just doing what they needed.
Do they say that that's for that age group, that it could help with any anxiety?
I mean, yeah,
is that a thing? I'm just asking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really just helping them get just start that idea in your head that taking 2 steps back and a big deep breath can make you feel so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
No more tantrums.
Yes. No, they probably still will.
Probably.
I'm just gonna try and
They
wear
don't know
them
any
out for a
better.
little bit.
Well, I have to say, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but writing the book is the easy part. Digital marketing is the hard part. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
If you could give like one piece of advice to my audience, who what would you say?
Oh, One Piece.
I know. I'm narrowing it down.
I know.
You can squeeze in 2 if you want.
The first thing would be to don't be hard on yourself when your plan veers off in a different direction. I think that is it's helpful for us to give ourselves grace, but it's also helpful to know like that. To be perfectly honest, if it went astray, the only person who knows is you.
That's right.
And that, I think that has actually really helped me because as a recovering people pleaser, we'll say, that I'm the only one that knows takes some of that anxiety out of it.
Yes.
And once you can find the place that maybe you don't feel quite comfortable, but you feel like, all right, I can talk in this room for a little bit and see how it goes. That I'd kind of try and take little steps at a time and don't be hard on yourself.
Baby steps. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Those are really good tips. It's, it's a long, sometimes frustrating process. I think that's the reason why I started my YouTube channel with the Self-Publishing Corner, where I just started doing podcasts by myself, giving tips to self-published authors, because I realized this is daunting. And if I'm frustrated and I'm learning as I'm going, I'm sure everybody else is. So I started sharing, things that worked for me, things that, I got scammed, things that didn't work for me.
That happens.
So,
I think that's really important to talk about too, that they're like, sometimes you just have to try it and see. And sometimes it won't work. And so giving yourself that grace to say, well, I tried that and that flopped.
Exactly.
And that's okay. And just pivot and move on to the next one.
Yeah. And do your research. That's another thing too. So, I wouldn't take a chance on someone who wants, $5,000 for a media campaign if you haven't done your due diligence and really researched it. Find out what others are saying, about a service, and go from there, because there's a lot of scams out there. We need our money.
Yes.
We need our money to live.
Right? Yes, please.
So I don't like to put people on the spot, but would you mind reading an excerpt from your book?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Story time. We'll gather around.
Yeah, we're excited.
So again, this book is for kids about 7 to 10, where they're really starting to read on their own and pick things up. So this is the start of the 2nd chapter. So we've just learned that Mama Goo, who is a goose, has lost an egg. It's gone missing, and OCTO is on the case to try and help her find it.
Oh no.
So, all right. Sounds mysterious there, boss. For the 2nd time in less than an hour, I almost inked. I spun around to what looked like an empty room. I wasn't scared, not me. Just a little concerned was all. Mysteries I liked. Surprises in my home office, not so much. It's just me, boss, said my clamshell chair. Last I checked, clamshell chairs didn't talk. Being a master puzzle solver, I knew who was actually doing the talking. Tank, we discussed this, I said. No camouflage in here. What if Mama Goo had sat on you? What if I had? The idea of a chameleon dotted and sore from sucker spots was not appealing. Not to mention, if I had sat on him, I surely would have inked. 2 eyes appeared on my clamshell chair. Sorry, boss, Tank said. I've been practicing. His tightly curled tail slowly started changing color from the tip. It spiraled from pink to cream to blue, and then a wave of neon washed across his body as if someone had thrown paint on him. I'd had to admit, his skills in disguise were improving. The shades of the shell were difficult to match so perfectly. I should know. I've tried.
Yes, that was
A little taste.
Yes, that was so good. I
Oh,
love
thank you.
the banter, like back and forth, and the jokiness, and
Yeah.
yeah, you
Thank
really
you.
did create a whole, like, yeah, it does feel like a TV script.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
That's it. And that's how I do. I see it like a cartoon in my head. So,
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
cartoon, yeah, I can see that. Wow.
Yep.
And I had to think about it. I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They shoot ink, right? Like,
Yes.
like, I had to think about it. I'm not good with like geography and animal stuff and all that.
It's all right. I got you. Just let me know. I'm here for you. Don't worry.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me share. That was fun.
For listeners who want to connect with you, or maybe they want to, sign up and learn from you, have you as a mentor, where would they start?
So my website, sarahmcdavis.com, has just about has a way to get to all of my things on there. But if you're looking specifically for digital marketing, that would be at thestarteffect.com.
Okay, start with a
The
T.
start, yes, start effect, yes.
Perfect. And and you your for your media company, that's where sarahmcdavis.com, that's your media company there.
Yeah, I
Okay,
have one.
okay.
I have a URL for Wonder Creek Media also, but you can get all of the things you can find on Sarah McDavis. There's links to everything.
Okay, wonderful. And I tell you, we are going to be excited for May.
Yes.
Waiting for the second one. Everybody, again, we just want to thank Sarah McDavis for being here today. All of her links will be in the description area below the video. And we just are so excited for you about OCTO PI and the missing egg. And do you have a title for the next one or not yet?
Yes, it's OCTO PI and the Mysterious Voice.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so we are all anxiously waiting for that one. That's our time, guys. Like, time flies when you're having fun, I tell you.
Right?
And I didn't want to say anything to like throw off the interview or anything, but it was Blue Earring Day.
Yes.
So guys, you have to get with it, okay? I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Self-Publishing Corner. Until next time, bye.